This is Adam, and he suffers from gout. Try Urol. It helps to prevent crystallization of uric acid crystals in gout therapy. Urol, effective urinary alkalinizer for gout.
Hello, I'm Pia Ernadia and this is Kini News. Former Prime Minister Dr Mahathir Mohamad has denied involvement in the Dubai move, claiming he has not visited the place for a long time. He also took the opportunity to take pot shots at Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim, claiming the latter was the expert in political manoeuvrings.
Mahathir, in his Facebook post, mentioned Anwar's move on September 16, 2008 to establish a backdoor government, as well as the Kajang move to promote his wife to become the Selangor MB. He also reminded the public about Anwar's infamous strong, formidable and convincing majority move in 2020, which he alleged was an effort to gain power through backdoor methods. Last Saturday, JCOM Deputy Director General Ismail Yusof claimed there was a plot to topple the federal government. He said the plan, dubbed Dubai Move, arose during a recent vacation by Pakatan national leaders as well as government backbenchers to the United Arab Emirates. On Tuesday, Deputy Prime Minister Ahmad Zahid confirmed the plot, alleging the movement not only involved PN leaders but certain individuals from the government bloc as well. Taking a swipe at Anwar, Mahathir said that the latter's efforts back then were not considered treasonous despite their potential effects on the nation's democracy and economy.
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim has refused to be drawn into a mudslinging match with his predecessor, Dr Mahathir Mohamad.
After being accused as an expert in political maneuvering and forming backdoor governments, Anwar instead advised Dr Mahathir to take care of his health.
Datuk Sri Tun kata Datuk Sri pakar kerajaan pintu belakang. Sikit je.
Anwar briefly told reporters after attending a 2-day-long discourse on the country's higher education strategy in Kuala Lumpur today. Anwar and Mahathir's acrimonious relationship has spanned over 2 decades with a brief truce when PH collaborated with the 98-year-old politician to take down former Premier Najib Razak in the 2018 general election. However, since the last general election, Mahathir has been on the offensive against Anwar and aligned himself with the opposition Pakatan Nasional. Mahathir's feathers were ruffled further when the MACC launched an investigation into his close associate Daim Zainuddin.
Deputy Prime Minister Ahmad Zahid has lambasted Pakatan Nasional for hatching alleged plots to topple the current government through various moves. Speaking to reporters today, Zahid said it's high time PN quit wasting the people's time with its backdoor manoeuvring.
Tetapi soal tebuk atap ni saya fikir akuan bersumpah tidak lagi digunakan sebagai platform utama sebagaimana sebelum wujudnya Akta Anti Lompat Parti. Kini keputusan besar mesti dibuat oleh parti, di mana kalau mahu menukar, ianya mesti dibuat cara en bloc. Pihak pembangkang cukuplah untuk melakukan langkah-langkah yang apa nama sekalipun. Jangan buang masa rakyat. Jangan buang masa untuk divert attention rakyat.
The UMNO president also cites assurances given by Sarawak Premier Abang Johari Openg, who leads GPS, while GRS in Sabah is busy with upcoming state elections. Meanwhile, Zahid today also asserted that the current administration has 4 years left to build the nation before the next general election.
Dalam tempoh 4 tahun ini, kita sama-sama membina negara ini semula yang telah rosak selama satu penggal apabila 3 Perdana Menteri dalam satu penggal telah mengetuai negara kita dan tidak ada hasil yang baik pun untuk rakyat ketika itu.
Still on Dubai move, past President Abdul Awang today said that his party and Pakatan Nasional need not rely on shopping culture to entice MPs to its fold. According to Hadi, this is because the opposition believes in democratic ideals.
Taking to Facebook, he also said that any moves to overthrow the government must have come from parties that have money, alluding to the government's massive resources. The Marang MP stressed that the opposition's rightful allocations have been blocked, with party funds getting frozen and confiscated. He added that those who support the opposition are subjected to restrictions and face difficulties because they are considered a threat to the government. Hadi was referring to the Dubai move, an alleged plot to topple the federal government. Meanwhile, Hadi said PAS would only respect changes in government via the democratic process while respecting the constitutional monarchy. Previously, on October 22, 2022, Hadi said he was the one who initiated the move to oust the Pakatan Harapan government. This is after the PH administration tried unsuccessfully to ratify the Rome Statute and the International Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Racial Discrimination, ICERD. After the two issues broke out, Hadi said he approached Bersatu President Muhyiddin Yassin at the time to bring down the PH administration.
Moving on to the next story, Economy Minister Rafizi Ramli last night spent an hour defending the central database hub, PADU. This after critics raised concerns over the security measures in place to protect personal data integrated from all government agencies.
Rafizi addressed the decision to develop the database in-house instead of appointing vendors or private firms.
Kenapa ia perlu dibangunkan 100% oleh penjawat awam? Ia bukan soal kos semata-mata. Sudah tentu soal kos itu penting untuk kita jimatkan wang rakyat, tapi yang sama penting ialah keutamaan untuk membangunkan kepakaran dan proses dalaman penjawat awam.
Rafizi said the previous practice of appointing vendors or private companies to develop government applications is no longer appropriate. The Statistics Department is among the agencies responsible for PADU, a system built and maintained entirely by the civil service. Yesterday, the ministry changed PADU's application programming interface, API, after a netizen reported a loophole within its system which allowed third parties to use MyCut numbers to override passwords. Meanwhile, Rafizi also responded to rights group Lawyers for Liberty's call for PADU to be suspended until the Personal Data Protection Act 2010, PDPA, is amended to remove a clause that exempted the government from liability.
I was hoping that at least LFL, before they issue statements like that, they understand what's the difference between PDPA and data awam. Kerana data awam itu dikawal selia oleh akta bagi setiap agensi yang mengutip data awam. Kalau pendaftaran di JPJ contohnya, perkara mengenai kebertanggungjawaban data dan kerahsiaan data dan pengendalian data oleh penjawat awam itu telah pun termasuk di dalam akta JPJ. And I would have thought that a so-called lawyer group would have understood that.
Meanwhile, LFL has once again taken Economy Minister Rafizi Ramli to task over PADU. This comes after Rafizi yesterday defended PADU against the NGO.
In a statement today, its director Zaid Malik slammed Rafizi, saying the latter's comments on the matter were ignorant and irresponsible. He also labelled Rafizi as completely oblivious to the role and necessity of PDPA legislation in governing personal data. He said the protection of personal data cannot be left to ad hoc and superficial regulations of individual government agencies or departments as suggested by Rafizi. Pointing out that government data throughout the world has been subjected to PDPA-type regulations, Zaid expressed disappointment over Rafizi's claim. He also pointed out that Malaysia and Singapore are the only countries that have exempted government data from a PDPA legislative regime.
The U.S. House Oversight Committee alleged that the Najib Razak administration had paid over $248,000 or 1.15 million ringgit to Trump International Hotel between 2017 and 2020.
According to The Edge, the 156-page report by the committee is underpinned by documents provided to House investigators by accounting firm Mazars USA. The report also indicated that then U.S. President Donald Trump hosted Najib for an official visit at the White House in September 2017. This came at a time when the U.S. Department of Justice was seeking to recover over $1 billion in assets that were stolen from 1MDB. The report also mentioned that Najib and other Malaysian officials had stayed at the Trump International Hotel in Washington, D.C. during the official visit. It claimed that the officials returned to the hotel for an additional stay later that month. Detailing the costs, it was reported that in the days before and after the White House meeting from September 7th to 15th, 2017, a Malaysian delegation including Najib stayed at the Trump International Hotel for a direct bill of $247,352. Najib's stays in the hotel's presidential suite for 3 nights and 4 days was billed at $44,562. On September 13th, 2017, White House said that it did not book Najib's accommodation at Trump International Hotel.
We certainly don't book their hotel accommodation, so I couldn't speak to the personal decision they made about where to stay here in DC.
And that is all from me today. For more stories, you can go to Kinitv.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook for the latest news update. If you'd like to support independent media, do consider subscribing to MalaysiaKini.com. I'm Pia. Thanks for watching.